Hello, everyone. My name is Lexi. This is Sincerely Self. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Okay, if you follow the Instagram, you know that I said that the podcast was going to be uploaded on the 26th. I am actually recording this on the 26th, okay? And today, the 26th, when I'm recording this, is actually me and my boyfriend's 1 year anniversary. So, kind of crazy, kind of a really, really busy week, but I'm so excited to be sitting here again with all of you. This will be the last episode of 2024, which is insane. Like, before I jump into this episode, I really just want to touch on the fact that the podcast had so much growth in 2024. I started the podcast in 2023, and then actually for about 5 months of this year, I did not even record. I did not even record Sincerely Self. And in August, I got back into it, jumped back into the podcast. And since August, the podcast has grown so much. It's so exciting to see. And I just want to thank all of you. I'm very, very excited for this next year. I actually have multiple collaborations scheduled already for January and February, which is crazy. I already have that many that are booked, and I've had people reach out to me to do collaborations, which has been super exciting. That's a majority of the ones that we have booked for the beginning of this next year. Some really amazing people like you guys. I'm so excited for 2025 and what it's going to bring for the podcast and how we're all going to grow. So, this episode is aimed to help us with the new year, to kind of realize what we want and what kind of energy we want to bring in to this new year. I really believe you can change yourself as a person into the person that you want to be from a new year. Like, this is just the perfect place for a restart. You know what I mean? So, we're going to talk about the power of karma. We're going to talk a little bit about goals, and we're just going to have a little bit of a catch up. It's going to be a chill episode. If you can see, if you're watching this, I got a little comfy blanket thing for Christmas. So if you're listening to this, grab a blanket, grab a snack, and come and hang out because we're improving ourselves today, you guys, and it's going to be amazing. So, now that I've yapped your ear off for a little bit, let's get into what we're even talking about in this episode. So, the first thing that I want to touch on with karma is there are 7 kind of main rules that go along with what karma is, okay? So, because everybody talks about karma like, oh, like um, the Taylor Swift song Karma, like karma is my boyfriend. Everybody talks about karma, but nobody really talks about what it is. And it's a very real thing. We kind of joke about it like, oh, they'll get their karma, but like we're all going to get our karma. And karma is good and karma is bad. And it's just the reality of life and it's the reality of energy. And the more that you understand the laws of karma, the more that you can kind of control your life to get the outcomes that you want to get, right? Because we all create our realities. And you can do it from a victim standpoint of not gaining the knowledge that you need to be successful in this life, or you can take control and get the life that you want to live. So, let's talk about karma. The first one is the great law. So basically, what we put out into the universe is what's going to come back to us. What you give is what you get. Everybody always talks about treat other people how you want to be treated. And the main reasoning for this is how you treat people is exactly how other people are going to treat you. Everybody is just a reflection of your inner thoughts and your inner self. The characteristics that you have in common with somebody, good or bad, are the characteristics that you're going to notice when you meet somebody. So when somebody irritates you because of a behavior they have, it's most likely a behavior that you have, and you're noticing it because you carry that behavior, if that makes sense. So what you give is what you get. How you treat people is what you're going to get right back, good or bad. The main theme with karma is kind of like the law of polarity, which is you can't have the good without the bad. You have to have the balance of the both. You have good karma and you have bad karma, but you have karma regardless of anything. So it can be a really, really good thing or it can be a really, really bad thing, but the person who chooses is you. It's all about how you present yourself, the thoughts that you have in your head, and the things that you have, and the way that you treat other people, and how giving you are. I think giving is, and being generous and compassionate is one of the highest frequencies of energy. We're all carrying different frequencies. Some people are on the same frequency and you really blend with them, and some people are not. Everything in the world, in the universe, has a frequency. That's just the way it is. You can vibrate on a high frequency or you can vibrate on a low frequency. But either way, you're going to attract whatever you're on the same frequency as. Next one is the law of creation. So life does not happen by itself. We need to make it happen. If we want to achieve things, it's not just going to happen out of nowhere. We have to put in some sort of effort, mentally or physically, to make life happen. You're not just going to go into work and go about your day. You have to make the effort to get up. You have to make the effort to get out of bed. Nothing is going to continue until you make the effort for it. So you create your own reality, right? Also, if you want to learn more about creating your own reality, I have multiple episodes on that. I can link them in the description of this episode. I can't think of the title names off the top of my head, but I know I have multiple episodes where I've talked about how you create your reality and just the powers of your subconscious mind, kind of more about frequencies, more about the energies that we carry. I get really, really in depth in it in other episodes. So the episodes that relate to that, I will link in the description of this one on YouTube and wherever you're listening to it. So if you want to learn more about that specific subject, you can go and check it out, but I'm not going to get super into it in this episode. Next is the law of humility. So one must accept something in order to change it. The main thing is accepting your triggers, accepting the things that bring out the worst in you, or accepting the worst things of you, because we all have that balance of good and bad even inside of us. We all have negative traits and we all have positive traits. And it's just the balance of the both that makes us who we are. And the negative traits are things that we can always learn from, always. And learn to love, because it is what makes us who we are. So being able to swallow your ego and acknowledge that you have negative traits inside yourself, you've done people dirty, you've treated people in the wrong way, acknowledging your wrongdoings and making the conscious effort to change them. That's the only way to change things, is to accept the way that they are. The law of responsibility. We must take responsibility for the things that are happening in our lives. We have to be, once again, this one kind of goes along with also swallowing your ego and just being able to take responsibility for the things that you've done. The law of responsibility. It's taking responsibility for things. Law of change. History is going to repeat itself until we learn and choose to change it. People talk a lot about generational traumas or just generational things. And unless it's acknowledged, there will never ever be any change. Unless someone is like, hey, this is not what I want to do, I'm going to change it. There is no other way that it's going to go. And even just things in our own life, if you have a bad habit of being late to things or waking up late for things, you're going to continue the cycle until you learn, until you have an experience bad enough that you learn. Unfortunately, that's a lot of the way that it goes. Same thing with any negative habit that we have. A lot of the time, we're going to continue the cycle until we learn. Sometimes we have to have negative experiences to learn and change. Next one is the law of patience and reward. The most valuable rewards require persistence, okay? What you focus on is what you're going to get. I've talked a lot about our subconscious thoughts, so the thoughts that we're just kind of having throughout the day without much intention behind it. A lot of the time they're negative. That's just kind of what we're programmed to do. But what you focus on is what you're going to get. If you're focusing on all the negativity in the world, how horrible you think people are, that's the world you're going to experience. And like I said, there has to be the balance of polarity. So when I'm saying like you can change reality and have more positive experiences, you will always still have some negative. Even if you're living your most perfect life, there will be always something wrong or bad that happens, because it's balance. And we have nothing to learn from if bad things don't happen. The bad is supposed to be our lesson. It doesn't feel fair, right? And I think the biggest thing to realize is fair is just a man-made construct. Nothing is fair, but we can all learn from the negative things that happen to us to become a better person. I genuinely believe that's what they're there for. So the most valuable rewards require persistence. So even, let's use an example of if you are looking for a job and you keep getting knocked down once again, not getting the job, persistence is what is going to get you that job. If you give up because of all these negative, these no's, these no answers, then you're never going to succeed, right? But if you keep trying, yeah, you may not succeed, but you have a lot better chance of succeeding than if you just quit, right? So persistence is the key to accomplishing whatever you want to accomplish. If you genuinely believe that you can do something, even if the results are not showing you that, you will eventually achieve what you desire. A good book that goes along with that subject is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Amazing, amazing book. I could not recommend it enough. The book literally changed my life. And it just shows, like, it has multiple examples of people who, regardless of the outside world around them, the 3D plane, regardless of what was going on in that, they had a belief that they're going to accomplish something, and they failed and they failed and they failed, and they just kept persisting and they just kept persisting, and they accomplished exactly what people thought they could never do. So, the law of patience and reward. The last one we're going to talk about today is the law of significance and inspiration. So, rewards are a result of the energy and effort that we put into it. So, if you are wanting to accomplish something, but you're kind of half assing it and you're really not trying your best, the odds of you accomplishing it, like, maybe you still will, but it would take so much longer than if you were trying your best and really putting your all into it, right? Genuinely giving everything you have into something because you believe that you can do it. So be persistent. This one also kind of goes along with just being persistent. So now that we've kind of talked about the different laws that come along with karma, the knowledge that I take from karma as a whole is I'm going to treat other people how I would like to be treated. And I'm going to give out what I would like to see in the world. And we're all human. So, am I going to accomplish that every single time? Am I going to have no negative behaviors, no negative interactions, no horrible things happening in my life? No, they're still going to happen. But I can keep it to a minimum. I can be feeling in control in my life instead of feeling out of control from all the negativity. It's really, really easier said than done to not focus on the negativity in your life. Everybody says that, focus on the good, focus on the good. Well, it's hard when there's a lot of bad things happening, but I genuinely believe things have to get so bad to the point that you are forced to change. I really believe that. Things will get bad enough until you make a change, and then they'll get good again. And will you have a low point again after that? Yeah. But eventually you'll learn and learn and learn from these experiences until you grow into the best version of yourself. If we keep focusing on the bad things that happen to us and constantly feeling victim to them, instead of realizing, you know what? This made me a stronger person. This taught me this. This made me meet this person. Like, I guess there is a reason for everything, even though that's not something I'd like to experience. The last thing I kind of want to touch on with this episode is different goals. So, kind of a crazy story I have here for you guys. Actually, I have a couple crazy stories of things that have happened since our last episode. First thing that kind of goes along with giving out into the world what you would like to receive. So, I went to these Christmas lights with my boyfriend about 2 weeks ago, and we're walking around, we're talking, we're taking pictures, and this lady walks up to us and she has an envelope in her hand, and she's like, hey, like, you guys look like you're having a lot of fun, Merry Christmas, and hands me the envelope and walks away. And we're both like, oh, Merry Christmas, like, kind of confused, like, what is this? We open up the envelope and it has a little note that just says, like, we need a little Christmas right about now. And it was just like, Merry Christmas, like, we're just trying to give out a little bit of joy. And it had a Chick-fil-A gift card in it as well. And I did not know this person at all. This person did not know me at all, but she was just going around giving because that's just what she wanted to do. That's the energy that she wanted to put out into the world. And that, like, really shook me. Like, I was like, people can just be good just because they want to be good. Like, just because they want to be good. Just because they want to make people happy. And I think a lot of the time we focus on giving and being selfless and being Christ-like during the Christmas season, but then where does it go? Like, then it kind of falls away. And so I really want to challenge all of us this year to keep the Christ-like giving behavior. And if you don't believe in God, just being a kind person, giving out what you would like to give back. And when I say Christ-like, I mean willing to do anything for other people just for the sake of being a good person, doing unto others what you would like done unto you. And it's a hard thing, and nobody's perfect at it. Nobody's perfect at it. But I think the point is to strive to do it regardless of how hard it is. Another experience I had was I was at the gym earlier this month, and I'm on the Stairmaster. Honestly, a lot of the time I don't really talk to people at the gym. I just kind of get in the zone, which is fine. You know, some people are talkative, some people are not. I'm on the Stairmaster. There's a girl next to me, and she's complimenting my nails, and I'm like talking to her about it. We get to the point where we're talking about how she had thought about starting a podcast. And I'm like, oh, no way. I have a podcast. So we're talking about that. And then we're talking about how we both had these crazy experiences in college, and now she goes along with this wellness company, and she works with a bunch of life coaches. If you guys don't know, I'm planning on getting certified to be a life coach this year. And she works with a bunch of mentors, and like genuinely like one of the coolest people I've ever met. And it was just crazy that we happened to be right next to each other with so many common interests, you know what I mean? So many common things. So I've had the opportunity of meeting with Chelsea like about once a week and just kind of chatting. Like it's been really good for me because I have a lot of supportive people in my life with the podcast, but I don't have a lot of people around me that in person around me that know a lot about this type of thing that I can learn from, you know? People who have experiences and have knowledge and know other people who have this knowledge that I can look up to and like ask questions to, and who can give me guidance with what I want to do. I don't know a lot of people who in person I can talk to who are doing the same thing. Like obviously I have a lot of influencers and podcasters that I admire and look up to so much, but I didn't really have anyone in person that I could admire and look up to. Anyway, Chelsea has been helping me so much with getting clear on my goals and giving me resources to help me in furthering the podcast. So I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to meet her. And I'm going to share with you guys one of the exercises that she just shared with me this last week. And it's on getting pretty clear with your goals. I think this is amazing to be doing the last week of the year to get a clear vision for what you want to accomplish this year and just in the future. Think of the details, and that's how you're going to manifest your reality. Do you have details on how you're going to reach this goal? And in my head, I'm like, you know what? I don't. I was like, I'm going to become a life coach. I'm going to keep doing the podcast. I'm going to get married, going to have kids. That's kind of how I'm going to go. You're like, okay, how are you going to become a life coach? Which direction are you going to take? Where are you going to get certified to do it? Like, these are things that are sometimes scary to think about, but it's good to try and plan out. And obviously, life is unpredictable. You can't plan it to the very minute, but you can have a goal, and a goal is just a vision to get you there. So, I'm going to say these. I would love for you guys to write these out and just try this exercise with me. I have them written in my journal right here that I've been reading off of, and I'm also going to be doing this exercise along with us. So, number 1, describe what you would like your life to look like in 2 years, and then 5 years, and then 10 years. The goal of this exercise is to think big. There are no restrictions. You cannot have a lack mindset. If money wasn't a characteristic, if your lack of belief in yourself wasn't a characteristic, if your abilities weren't a characteristic, what are things that you genuinely want to accomplish and things that you genuinely want to have? That's what you're going to write down. A 2-year span, a 5-year span, and then a 10-year span. Next one, list 10 to 15 things on your bucket list that you would like to do, or you would like to see, or you would like to accomplish, or you would like to experience. Literally, the sky's the limit. 10 to 15 things that you would like to do in your life. Anything. Literally anything. Write those down. Number 3, who are 3 people that you would like to help from what you've done? So this could be like a demographic, this could be an age group, this could be specific people, really anything. Who are people that you want to help from what you do? Because going along with the law of karma, what you give is what you get. So if you're giving and kind towards people, you're going to get the same in return. And I think part of having a purpose, I think we all have a purpose in regards to helping other people and how we can serve other people. In my episode with Brittany Costa, her and I talked about that a lot. Like, what's a goal without how it can serve others, really? So, 3 people you'd like to help. Last one, describe your top 2 frustrations. So, it could be your lack of money, your lack of time with your family, your lack of time to do activities, your lack of free time, how much you have to work, any frustrations you have. Describe your top 2 that really, really you feel like are holding you back. Now that you've done this goal, I would like you to bookmark it and look back at it often and just keep it in the back of your mind. Maybe look at it every month and just keep yourself in check of where you're trying to get to. I really think this can help all of us in this next year to really make 2025 a year. Regardless of everything going on in the world and how crazy things are getting, just focus on what you can control and it'll help you feel a little less out of control. With that being said, I'm going to end the podcast here. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I can't believe this is the last episode of 2024. I'm so excited for all the collaborations we have coming in 2025. And you guys, I literally cannot believe it, like how far the podcast has grown to the point that I'm having to book out podcasts that we're doing with people. Like, I am so grateful for all of you who tune in every week, every other week, every once in a while. Thank you so, so much. I really am praying for all of you to have the most amazing year and to be safe. Also, be safe this New Year's, you guys. Be safe. Make sure you follow the Instagram, follow the TikTok before it gets banned from the US, and check out my link tree. It will have everything that you need on there. If you want to watch the YouTube, if you want to listen to the episode, it will all be on my link tree in the description. So, I hope you guys have an amazing New Year's, and I'll see you next year.